Is this mic on? Could I ask the lights just to be taken down for a couple of minutes? And this is not to get too dramatic, but it is to invite us a little closer into silence and into mindfulness. Thank you. I want to address something to our international leadership, and by leadership I mean those factions, those sectors, those controlling interests that drive each of us, actually, whether we know it or not. Explicitly, one could speak in terms of the presidents and prime ministers and popes of history and of today. I don't believe that that's necessarily leadership. I'm going to address this to what we all regard as leadership, those elites that drive the hologram, that drive our reality matrix. And I want to do so in a state of heart and a state of mind. To our international leadership, a glance at the international headlines anywhere on spaceship Earth, and we are confronted with lies, lies, and more lies. And they are spat out by a global media machine which elevates fear and control to the status of salvation. We are informed by a mutant global media machine that terrorism lurks in every corner, that we should not talk to strangers, that the world's food supply is flatlining, that water is running out, that exotic new viruses are emerging to kill us, that our fragile planet is vastly overpopulated, that our resources are vaporizing, that we are in free fall. We must surrender our arms. We must submit to vaccination programs, to your microchip programs. We learn about seed vaults, multi-billion-dollar underground military bases, and we witness the continued hijacking of developing nations and their assets, their resources, the continued suppression of real quantum solutions and technologies which could make all the difference, could have made the difference 100 years ago. And yet the common human heart is telling us something quite different. It is awakening, and in that awakening, it's beginning to speak a different narrative altogether, and it's offering us a different code of wisdom. It is a wisdom which invites us into silence, and in that silence, to reflect upon a single word. And that word is truth. Truth about 9/11 and 7/7. Truth about the secret rouge factions within our military, about World War I, World War II, the truth about Vietnam, Cambodia, Afghanistan, about the world drug trade, truth about communism and democracy, about Palestine and Israel, about the esoteric ritualism that underpins Whitehall and Washington, truth about the real number of missing children in our world, the truth about Little Bighorn, Pearl Harbor, Waco, Oklahoma City, Pine Ridge, Columbine, the Gulf oil spill, truth about the real space program and the origin and nature of the moon, about the murderous nature of all modern vaccination programs, the truth about HIV/AIDS, about the 1939 Cancer Act, about the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, and every other central bank on the planet, the truth about you and me, and where we stand on this precipice. The indigenous flame keepers motion us toward a place of truth within ourselves, and they invite us to embrace a deeper set of values and to tune in to a more resonant song. And this song enters the heart, and it teaches a universal truth, that there is no separation. There never was. There was only an idea of separation, which through the laws of fractality birthed another idea of separation, and this idea was never truly ours. It never belonged. And through this journey of awakening, we begin to see that this world is abundant, it's prosperous, and it overflows with beauty and creative expression. We learn that we can cure all diseases without money, without profit, without men in white coats and manufactured toxins. We learn that we can clean our air, our water, and our soil by a few simple measures. That we can positively affect climate with invocations, geomancy, and the conscious application of the sacred. You, our international leadership, are free to join us in the galactic celebration as we hurtle toward the real genesis of humankind, as we enter the slipstream of our eternal birthright, our multidimensionality, our DNA upgrade. Join us as we remove our dark glasses and sunscreen lotions, as we look to the skies and salute the majestic solar flares that are not our great enemy, but rather offer us redemption within the principle of love eternal. Join us as we kick off our shoes, those rubber soles which ensure a disconnect between us and a conscious earth, and instead permit our feet to remember the sweet grass, the sand, and the mud of our own physicality. As we rip up the asphalt, the mutant infrastructures, the steel and concrete prisons of our so-called civilization, and honor instead the trees, the breathing soil, and the healing radiance of inner earth. Join us as we evolve into being the only species in the universe that are not required to pay to be on the planet we are born. Join us as we now take a long, hard look at those birth certificates, death certificates, marriage licenses, identity cards, passports, and see where they fit perfectly into a Babylonian business plan. A business plan which defines us by literally trading our lives on the floor of stock exchanges. Join us as we pull the drips from our arms and kick away the crutches, spit out the sodium fluoride and the poisons fed to our air, our water, and our food supply. Join us as we reject the needles, the probes, the drones, the x-rays from violating the sacred groves of our beautiful bodies. As we transcend the false reality constructs of fear, protectionism, defensiveness, manipulation, control, and despair. Listen closely to the chorus of the awakening human heart as we command a decommissioning of the mad, bad trillion-dollar war machine, and where we demand that you exchange it instead for a blessed chance at prosperity, at abundance, and a bright new world, exploding not with atomic clouds, but with human creative potential. So, as we cup our hands over the flickering flames of remembrance of who we truly are, and gently blow that fragile flame into a roaring inferno of renewal, of upliftment, of enchantment within ourselves and with ourselves, with one another, with our earth, and with our true divinity. Join us as we cross the great event horizon which looms in front of us now, in the closing of these ancient cycles. As we remember ourselves within this dream, and in so doing, receive the true gift of life, the true Holy Grail, the most precious golden key of them all, which is the gift of unbearable love toward ourselves and toward one another. Join us in this place, in the true 0 point within the human heart, where you will find only love. Thank you. I am the chairman, along with you. I beg you all be seated. Thank you. Let the games begin.